It's time for an Out and About with Jamie Grout Shortcast video, and with me is Michael Dale, who is the principal here at Newton Senior High School. And Michael, thank you for taking the time to join me today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, let's see where to start. I guess how I got here. Growing up, I grew up in Eastern Iowa, product of the city of Davenport. Ended up in Central Iowa to go to Drake University and play football. It was during that time that decided to get my shift when my playing days were over into coaching. Coaching got me into education. And really, it's been kind of a whirlwind ever since. I spent some time in Des Moines Public Schools, Ankeny Community School District, before getting my start as a school administrator. I did a stint as an activities director and middle school principal in Southwest Iowa, down in a district called Nottoway Valley, before transitioning back into a larger school setting, which is what I was used to. Went to Marshtown Community School District 4 years as an assistant principal, and then finally had the opportunity to come here to Newton to be the head high school principal.
And you're from what? Davenport West High School?
Davenport West, class of 2002.
I think Davenport West beat Newton in a playoff game back many years ago, so I think we need to even the score a little bit.
I don't think it'd be much of a game if we played it today.
Oh, really?
I think Newton might take that one handedly. Sorry to my friends back in Davenport.
For those who don't know the difference, I ask you this in the podcast too, but what's the difference between an associate principal and a principal?
Really the biggest difference between being an assistant principal and that shift to the high school principalship is really you take on a lot of different responsibilities, things like your state reporting. You're also doing a lot of strategic planning, a lot of vision direction for your building. Other than that, the work is very similar. You're still doing a lot of the hiring. You're still doing a lot of teacher instructional leadership. You still deal with a little bit of the student management side with behavior and attendance, but you don't deal with it quite as much as you would as you do as an assistant principal.
And was it always your goal to be a principal?
I can't say when I got an education that being a principal was on the horizon as far as that goes. I was really focused on teaching and being a coach. Coaching is what got me into education. I would always say that I had aspirations towards leadership. I always had that aspiration becoming a head coach. But really, when I got into my educational pathway and journey, and I got into grad school, is when I kind of started sparking the idea or the thought process behind being a school administrator. I was able to kind of marry my passion between administration and coaching when I became an activities director. And through that experience, it was just that natural progression. I think I've always had that aspiration towards leadership, which really put me on the pathway to where I'm at now.
Well, I can see on your Facebook post that even though you've only been here for a couple of years, that you're beaming with cardinal pride, and because you do, and I'm very proud to say that you have a lot to brag about here at Newton Senior High School. So go ahead and tell us some of the things you're proud of here in the last couple of years at Newton High.
We're very blessed here. We've had a lot of great accomplishments. We've got a lot of kids that are involved in multiple different activities, whether it's athletics, whether it's fine arts, our student clubs. We're expanding our opportunities for kids with our most recent additions of esports and robotics. Girls wrestling, has been a big one for us. And we've had a lot of success. This community makes it very, very easy. There's a lot of tradition here. There's a lot of pride and a lot of support for the things that we do. I've got a great activities department that does a lot of social media presence, which I'm grateful for, because I think that makes it easy for me to turn around and share that back out with my network of people, and just really able to highlight and advertise all the great things that our kids are here doing here at Newton.
That's fantastic. Do you have some goals? Do you have some things you want to achieve as principal here?
I think my goal is really just making sure that, we're continuously striving for improvement. I've been very fortunate. There's been a lot of great work that's already been done here at Newton. I have to credit Bill Peters a lot for the work that he's done, really setting our kids up for life beyond Newton High School. That was a lot of conversations him and I had in this transition, and a lot of the work that he's been doing over the years. And as our state has kind of evolved the way that we're rated, we've had a lot of great foundations and pieces in places, but now how do we take that to that next step? So my goal, honestly, is to leave this position whenever I do vacate it better than it was when I received it. And by doing that, it's just working with our staff and finding opportunities for improvement.
And you said standards have changed, over the years since you started in education, whatnot. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
I think education's been an ebb and a flow. If you look back, kind of the purpose and the point of education. A lot of it is really preparing for kids for what life comes like after high school. Defining what that might be, I think, is what's been the change. When I was in school, it was very much that transition from getting people ready for the workforce to making sure all kids go to college. With No Child Left Behind, there's always been that accountability piece. And our educational model and the way that our graduation requirements are set really are a college prep pathway. But here in these last few years, our state performance profile and how we rate schools and just how we monitor their progress has taken on more of an emphasis on work-based learning and apprenticeship. So there is a heavier piece attached to getting kids actually out into the workforce as part of their learning experiences. And it's really what has been the major involvement is the school's responsibility. It's not just about getting kids to a graduation stage to get them across the stage with that diploma, but it's also helping our families and our kids, understanding to identify what is going to come after high school and how do we give them the skill set necessary to find that profession and to get them there. So,
one thing I didn't bring up during the podcast, but one thing I found out about from one of your counselors who I interviewed for the tour of homes, and that is the Dollars for Scholars program. Isn't that awesome?
We have the best Dollars for Scholars in the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
The amount of money that our kids have an opportunity to access, really is tremendous. You talk about community support. We got great community support for all our school activities, but this community is very passionate, and our kids are very fortunate to be able to, whatever they want to do for after high school, if that requires some level of education, whether it's vocational, trade, or traditional college path, our Dollars for Scholars has a great foundation, and they do a lot of great activity to ensure that our kids have the financial support necessary to pursue their education.
Yeah, they don't turn anyone down, from what I understand. And it's for trade schools, too. I wish I'd had that when I went to broadcasting college back in the day. Yep. Anyway, Michael Dale, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work here at Newton High School. And go Cards go!
Go Cards.
You betcha. Our interview guest has been Michael Dale, principal at Newton Senior High School. That's going to do it for this edition of Out and About with Jamie Grout's podcast. And until next time, out is out. See ya.